These days, modern cars are all named after numbers or letters or even punctuation, exclamation marks. But back in the day, in the 80s, they were called things like Allegro, like Sierra, like Montego. They're names that are poetic, that are romantic, that are exotic. And look at this, a wonderful example of an Austin Allegro Vanden Plas. I'll just show you inside the back. How often, well, I would suggest never, would you see a car these days that has a little mini picnic table on the back made of walnut? That is some classic British styling right there. And here, the Austin Montego. What a wonderful car. A mate of mine's dad used to have one of these. Steve, you're only 25 years old.
Indeed, yeah.
The car's older than you are.
I grew up with Maestros.
What do you love about it?
I grew up with Maestros, and so my dad moved on to more modern cars. Then I got my first Maestro, joined the Maestro Montego Owners Club, which I'm now on the committee of. And since then I've just fallen in love with the Montego, and I've owned this one for 4 years now, and it's been pampered.
It certainly has been pampered. It is absolutely immaculate. Thank you, Steve. Let's talk to Keith Adams from Honest John. You did the research that suggested that cars like this, a 70s car, this is a 72 Cortina,
yep,
still thriving, but its successor, the poor old 89 Ford there, the Sierra, not doing so well. Why?
Well, I think that they've not made the transition from second-hand to classic car in the way that Cortinas and Morris Minors and things like that have done. And I think it's because the Sierra, for instance, is a good example. It was so modern when it was launched that 30 years old, that car is basically 30 years old, and it still fits in with modern traffic. So people might not be getting those sort of fond memories, you know, that it's of a bygone era that they would perhaps in an Allegro or a Minor or a Marina.
And were there issues with build quality at all? Is that the reason why we've lost some? I guess we had the scrappage scheme a few years ago. That must have impacted on all old cars.
Scrappage did take a lot of cars off the roads, and some would say some of them needed to be taken off. But I personally think that we should be preserving them. We set up the endangered list basically to kind of highlight the fact that these 80s cars are going. The build quality on the Sierra isn't great, but parts are cheap, they're easy to work on, and they're very easy to keep on the road.
All right, Keith, thank you very much indeed. He's lucky to escape with his life talking about build quality. I'm just going to squeeze past you and come and talk to Will, another young owner of an 80s car. Will, you're only 22. What do you like about this one?
It's just unusual more than anything. It's a real head turner when I'm driving it. It just makes me smile more than anything. I just love driving it. It's great fun.
It's a wonderful little car. And different to driving a modern car?
Yeah. Well, not so much. I had a Morris Minor up until a few weeks ago, and that's a lot different. But this is quite an advanced step up from that, so it's not too bad.
Thanks very much indeed. We'll let you get the T-cut and the polish out and keep it looking absolutely pristine. Talking to the owner, Jim, of this car, the Sierra, you know, he was saying he gets 42 miles for the gallon. So maybe 80s cars aren't that bad after all.